Alright, today we are going to be making buckeyes. And for this you're going to need peanut butter, some sticks of butter, vanilla extract, confectioner sugar, or powdered sugar, however you want to call it, and chocolate chips. And you're also going to be needing some parchment paper, some toothpicks, and something to put your buckeyes on, and your parchment paper. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put about a cup of butter into a bowl to be mixed. And I like to use my KitchenAid mixer just because I like to have my hands free and I love my mixer. So we're going to go ahead and stick like a cup of butter. Which, if you didn't know, you can see on the wrappers, I don't know if you can see, but it tells you the measurements of each one. So it can tell you how much you're putting in there. Okay? And then next we're going to stick a half a teaspoon, if I can get it open, of vanilla in there. Ooh, a little too much, so we're just going to put that aside. I always like to stick everything out of my way once I use it, so that way it's kind of on my way. And now we are going to need about a cup and a half of peanut butter, but I like to kind of just eyeball it. Anyway, that's I'm just going to get it so the butter mixes together, so it's all that clumped together. Okay. Stick some peanut butter in there. Now, from experience, I have learned this is one of the bigger jars, so with the smaller jars it takes most of it, so for a bigger jar it'll probably take about half, but if you prefer to measure it out, then go ahead and do that. It'll be a cup and a half. One more scoop. And set that down, or start off slow. As it mixes together, we're going to go faster so it gets all blended in there. Just like butter, peanut butter, and then for the confectioner sugar, which I have some left over from before, we are going to slowly add some in there, because you can always add more, but you can't take out, so we're going to slowly mix it in there. What you're going to end up doing is rolling them into balls, and you can't really do that when you have just plain peanut butter will stick to you. Usually with this, it takes about anywhere from 5 to 6 cups to get the right texture that you want. So you can measure it out, or you can do as I'm doing and just eyeball it, but it's always got to be the right texture or it's not going to turn out correctly. Put on there, stuff on there. Okay, I'm going to open up this one too. And as you do this, you'll notice that the color of the peanut butter is going to turn a little lighter than what it is, which is a good thing. Woo! Getting it all over. Sweep that up later. Add some more. Oh, we're getting there. If it seems like you're adding too much powdered sugar, that's fine as long as you get the right texture. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you add like crazy amount, too little, too much. It's as long as it's the right texture. As you can see, it is like a very light color. It's still too like sticky, so we need to add more. Just wiping down the edges. And we're going to add actually like a whole bunch to see if we can get it going. So as you can see right now, it is a good time to have a KitchenAid mixer. We're getting there, we're closer, but not quite there yet. Now from times that I've made these, the batch that we're making right now can make pretty decent sized ones, about 50 of them. About 50 or more, so if you're looking to make a little less, I would cut this in half, but this makes quite a bit, so you can tell I'm a messy person. Now we're gonna see if you touch it and it doesn't stick on you, then you're pretty much good. Because see, you can tell that it's like a different color. And peanut butter, we'll take 2 different ones. They're 2 different colors. I'm not very good at getting it together, but see? So, and we're going to add a little more powdered sugar because I think it can be a little better. Because if you get too mushy, then it comes off the toothpick later. But if you get too dry, then it just doesn't taste right. There we go, so it can all get mixed. Just a little bit more. see, you're using like tons and tons of powdered sugar. So remember, it's okay to use like a crazy amount. Now, while this is mixing, what we're going to do is move our way. Line the cookie sheet with parchment paper. Or whatever you're using. But I think it's easier with the parchment paper than anything. And especially when it comes to dipping them in the chocolate, it's going to be a lot better. Whew. You'll notice that it's not really sticky anymore. You can actually put your hand in and it's not going to do anything. It will feel kind of weird, well, at least I think it feels kind of weird, but that's just me. So before you do this, you always want to make sure you wash your hands really well. Because you really don't want dirt and everything going in there. Unless you want to put that in as your own special ingredient. There we go. All done. It's coming off the thing so easily. What we're going to do next is take a little bit of this and we're going to roll it into a ball. It can be any size. You have big ones, little ones, medium sized ones. Usually about a teaspoonful is good. And you just keep doing that until all of it is rolled. And then when you're done, you're going to stick your toothpicks in them. Ooh, that one looks dirty. I don't want to put that in there. Go ahead and insert toothpicks. Just like that. And now I'm going to finish up the rest of these and I'll show you what they look like before we put them in the freezer. Okay? Alright, now before we take the buckeyes out of the freezer, what we're going to do is make a double boiler and melt the chocolate chips. So what you do is you put some water in there in a pot and you're going to use a bowl and put it in there, like on top of it, just like so. But you want to make sure that the water does not touch the bowl. So it's just, you know, like the heat from it is going to make it melt. And I use a spatula, but you want to be careful that it is a, you know, heat resistant spatula. I do have one that does say not heat resistant, and it's made by Rubbermaid. So you want to be careful to make sure that they are heat resistant because you don't really want it melting. So what you do is you put the water in there, you have it bring to a boil, and then you put the chocolate chips in there. There's that. Go. Put those out of the way for right now. And it will slowly begin to melt. You want to be careful of the heat though, just like around it and stuff. You don't want to burn yourself. But here, I'll show you. You can already see that it's beginning to melt. So you're just always going to be stirring it and stuff like that. I've never burned it this way, so but I'm pretty sure you can burn it any way you make it. I've never made it in the never melted chocolate in the microwave, so I'm sure you can. It's just you want to be careful because I'm pretty sure you can burn it pretty easily that way. I don't have a microwave to test it out with, so this is my only way of making it. And you just keep on going until all of it's melted. And it'll be like silky smooth. Alright, so this is what they look like after they're done. They kind of have like a little hole, but they're just, you know, new things. I took out all the toothpicks. You can leave them in if you want, say if you're like having a party or something like that. And it's just, you know, easier to get them with just using the toothpicks. But I'm going to be packaging these up and sending them out, so. You want to keep them refrigerated till ready to serve, so there you go. You have buckeyes. They're really good. Thank you.